Hi everyone. We're going to start topic 1.1 today. This is the very first thing that you are going to learn in IB Math AASL. In this topic, we're going to learn how to write numbers in standard form and how to convert numbers written in standard form to normal numbers. Now, what is the standard form? Sometimes when you solve math questions, you will come across a lot of numbers that are very small or very large. If you want to write those numbers in a more comprehensible form, then you need to use the standard form, also known as the scientific notation. Standard form means writing your answers in this form, a times 10 to the power of n, where this a is more than 1 and less than 10, and this n has to be an integer. When you solve past paper questions, IB questions, you will see this form many times. They will ask you to write your answers in a times 10 to the power of 10 this form. It just means they want you to express your answers in standard form. For example, if you have 1456, how can you write it in standard form? All you need to do is take the first number, which is 1, then put a decimal point after it. Then we have 456 times 10 to the power of, now you have to count how many numbers you have after the decimal point, which is 1, 2, 3. It's 3 in this case. But in standard form, you always use 3 significant figures. That means you don't need to use this 6 anymore. So my first 3 numbers are 1.45, and then you have to look at the number that's after the first 3 numbers. In this case, it's 6, which is more than 5. That means you need to change these numbers to 6. And times 10 to the power of 3 with it. Let's look at another example. We have 35879,875. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm just going to take the first number, which is 3, put a decimal point after it, and then take 3 numbers in total. So 3.58. My 3 significant figures, 358. Then you have to look at the number that is after this. Now 7 is more than 5. That means you need to change this 8 to 9. So I'm going to write 3.59 times 10 to the power of, then you need to count how many digits you have after the first number, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Multiply it by 7. Next example, 0.0000056234. It's a little bit different because has been written in decimal form. Let's see what to do with this kind of numbers. Remember, you always need to take the 3 significant figures. Now, when you just have zeros before the numbers, you really don't count it as significant figures. You will start with 5. I'm going to write 5, put a decimal point after it, and then take 2 more numbers. I'm not going to change this 2 because the number after it is 3, which is less than 5. So I'm just going to write 5.62 and times 10 to the power of. Then you have to count, like you move the decimal point, right? How many points did you move? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to write -6 because this is a decimal. So we use negative sign when it's a decimal number, when it's a very small number. Let's look at this example, 0.00000067885. I'm going to change this to standard form. So I will take the first 3 numbers, which is 6.7. I have to change this because the number after it is 8, which is more than 5. I'm going to write 6.79 times 10 to the power of, it's also going to be negative because decimal, and then you have to count how many places you move this decimal point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's why I'm going to write -10 for it. Let me scroll down a little bit. Now, let's look at examples where you have to convert standard form to normal form. This is my first question. 3.58 10 to the power of 5. That means my decimal places will move to the right. This is a big number. I'm going to write 3, 5, 8. I've already used 2 digits from this. I have 3 left. That's why I'm going to write 3 more zeros. This is the answer for this one. Next question, 1.57 times 10 to the power of 3. I'm going to write 1, 5, and 7. We already used 2 digits from this 3. That means you have 1 digit left. So you have to write a 0 because I don't know what digit was that. That's why the answer is just going to be 1570. And I moved the decimal point to the right because this is a big number. It's positive. The power is positive. Now let's look at numbers where you have like where the numbers are very small. I have 8.05 times 10 to the power of -1. This is negative. That means you have to move the decimal point to the left side. I'm going to move this decimal point by 1 place. Then I'm going to have 805. And then I'm just going to put a decimal point before, a 0 before the decimal point. Now let's look at the last example. This is the same question as this one. The only difference is the power is bigger. It's 3. It's not 1. It's a negative number. Same thing. That means you just need to move this decimal points to the left 3 places. So I'm going to write 8. I don't have any numbers before that, so I'm just going to put 0. 1, 2, 3. I'm done. Then point. I also have 0.5. I'm just going to write it after 8. And then put a 0 before the decimal point. Okay, that's all for standard form.